Before we begin this video, I'd just like to say the audio is pretty bad, so I'm sorry about that. I forgot to use my AirPods microphone, and I used my phone one where my hand is, so I'm sorry about that. I'll try to fix it in the future, but hope you guys enjoy this video. What is up, guys? I'm Tyrone2, and today I will be showing you guys how to build this exact 5x5 piston door. And if you want to see it in action, here you go. You flick the lever, see it closes up, nice. It's kind of slow, but it doesn't need to be the fastest thing in the world as long as it works. So we have a closed 5x5, and if you open it, you'll see that we get a working opening, and it opens pretty fast for its size. It opens in a pretty quick 12 seconds, or around 12 seconds. I haven't timed it exactly, and it is pretty fast. So let's jump right into the tutorial. First, let's start with the piston layout, and I'll be explaining the piston layout before we start building any of the circuits. And I don't recommend building this build in survival, so I won't have I will not have a materials list. So these are going to be door blocks like this, and so are these. And pistons facing inward here for storage. This layout is pretty complex, so if you don't understand it, that's fine. Alright, so I finished the layout, and now it's time to explain it. So, the first step we need to do is spit out these blocks, obviously, and push these blocks up one, like this. And after that, what we're going to do is extend this piston, extend and retract this piston, extend this, and extend this, then this, which is going to be useful for something else. And we're going to do the same thing down at the bottom, like this one, then this one, then this one, and all these three as well. And then we're going to extend them up again. Like so. And we'll spit these out once more. And obviously we'll extend the side pistons, but I don't want to do that right now because it takes a long time. So then up here, the first thing we want to do is a triple piston extension, like so. So we push the blocks down enough for these, for these pistons to retract their blocks. And I forgot to keep this extended. Then for the storage, this will extend briefly, retract, like doing a double piston extension. Then this will retract, this will retract, and as that's happening, look at our triple piston retraction. And then the same thing with the storage over here. Alright, and then we're going to do a triple piston extension on the bottom, like so. And and retraction, kind of. We're only going to retract to here, so the door doesn't look like this when it's closed, because that would be ugly. So we go like this. And then, last but not least, we do a triple extension. And that is your door fully open. I mean, not closed. Alright, so first we're going to do a triple piston extender down here at the bottom, because that is probably one of the hardest parts. So we're going to start down here, and I'm going to be doing this part in a light blue bowl. So we have look like this, and I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. So you'll place a block like this repeater on top of a downward facing observer with observers facing that observer, and that'll be going into a block, which will be going into, if I can find it, droppers, like so, which will be used for nope, not like that, which will be used for like a RS NOR latch kind of thing. So if we put a block in here, or an item, and flick the lever, you'll see that it'll extend and then retract, because the item moves down to the bottom one, which the comparator reads, and then once this turns on, it moves back to the top one. So then we can do an observer, and then glass across, like so. 2-tick repeater, block up with redstone dust on top, and then a top slab here, so the signal can travel from this redstone dust up to here, but it can't travel from here down to this redstone dust, and redstone dust across there. So and then I'm going to place repeaters up here, or not repeaters, observers up there with door frame blocks. I like these chiseled quartz for my door and quartz for my door frame. So that should be the full extension. And now we just need to fire these bottom ones again. And to do that, place a redstone torch with 2 observers going into this block. And you'll see that happen. Then we'll take a block output from this, like so, and then repeaters across, like this. A 1-tick, then 2 4-ticks into a block and down, so that redstone dust gets powered. And like this. You can go ahead and mine these to place in the, oh wait, never mind. 1 sec. Gonna place the glass across like this, and then you're gonna mine those, place the observers, then chiseled quartz, or whatever block you're using for the door, gonna replace. And so this should be a finished triple piston extender if I did everything right. Alright, so we just finished the triple piston extender, but we still need the double piston extender to push up these 3 blocks before the storage pistons fire. So what we're going to do is actually first place obsidian here so that if this goes while the double extender is still going, it won't break the build. So now what we're going to do is place a block here, the 4-tick repeater, and I'd like to replace this one. You don't have to. You're going to go like this, the block, and a redstone dust. So what's going to happen is since this is on 4 ticks, we're going to power this 5 ticks apart each time, so it creates like a pulse extender on this 4-tick repeater. And not 5 ticks, it's 4 or 5 ticks, I don't really know how it works. Then we're going to observe that, have dust up like this, and to do this, little double pulse thing that makes a pulse extender, we're going to use redstone lamps, and we're going to go redstone lamp here, and then like that. And then more redstone, and then 4 up, redstone lamp, then 4 more up, and a hopper. And this will be so that we can control it from the top because the input is up there. And as you can see, it creates a pulse extender and keeps the 4-tick repeater on for 8 ticks instead of just 4. So now we have that, we are going to move on to the purple circuit, which is the block storage for the bottom. So if you were following along with me on the levers, you can go ahead and mind those. So what we're going to do for this is actually pretty complex, and if you don't understand, it's fine. So this part for these pistons, really easy. Just redstone dust up here, repeaters across like that, because we can't go out here because of the size limitation, and if they don't push at the same time, it's fine because you won't see them like as they're going. So it'll keep the door looking sync, and you'll go 1 out on each side and block down. And since this side has the storage piston, to approach it a little differently, so we're gonna run 8 ticks of delay into the storage piston, like so, and the second repeater on 4 ticks is going to be on an observer like that, which will be used later, and by later I mean in about a minute. So again, observer facing like that, a sticky piston, and an observer facing upward. So that should be, so you'll see that one fire, and then we're gonna fire this one after, and then after, these will get pushed back like this, and then this will happen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this, go down into a block, no, that's the wrong color, into a block with a redstone torch and a sticky piston facing upward. So that'll fire on both edges, but it activates this observer which is on the piston, and so it only, you see it pushes out like that, but on the other side, when this piston gets retracted, you'll see that it doesn't fire again, even though it does the same thing. So grab your blocks again, and we're going to do the other side of the circuit. So for this end, we're going to have a sticky piston facing up, a redstone block on its face, and then we're going to have an immovable block here with a 4-tick repeater, and that is going to go into a block with a redstone torch on it. And then what we're going to do is piston facing inward, and that's why we have this immovable block, so it doesn't break anything. Piston facing inward, redstone torch on that piston, observer facing the redstone torch into a block. So what this will do, but actually also observer facing there, your door frame block, right? And what this will do is this will extend this piston, and on the falling edge, or when this line turns off, this will get retracted back, which the observer will pick up, firing this piston. Then this redstone torch will turn off after this piston fires, and same with this redstone torch. And so this back piston will get retracted, and then this observer will see this redstone torch and fire it, so it does the full double retraction. So if I just do that like this, as you can see, it works fully. And it's nice and safe too. I did not mean to do that when I created the door, but I did. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start the top, I think. Yeah, let's start the top. So we're going to start with the top triple piston extender, which is a very, very difficult one. So we're going to place redstone dust on top of these pistons, observers like this, blocks, sticky pistons facing inward, observers, blocks on top of these sticky pistons, there's some dust here, and you're going to wrap some powered rails and place them on these observers. This is so we don't have to use a redstone line, which will interfere with this one up here. And then I'm gonna have another line attached to these pistons, but that'll do a different thing. And then grab door frame blocks, go 2 down, like 3 like that, and redstone dust on top of those. So, to start the triple, this is going to be our power source for it. It's going to work off an observer pulse. So, when we want to tick this line, we want to power this block, which will power this dropper, doing basically the same thing as we did down here, which is pretty simple. Dropper facing inward, and don't forget to use an object inside the dropper. Comparator. You can have that block up into a 4-tick repeater, like so. And then observer facing a 4-tick repeater. And just go kind of in a circle and place a block. And that'll deactivate this dropper and fire these rails, which will be our first part of the triple piston extender, which is the extension. And that firing won't be a problem because we'll do that firing in time. So then what we're going to do is go out up a block, repeater on 4 ticks, another 2 repeaters on 4 ticks, and block up with some glass and dust on these 2 blocks. And then we're going to place a sticky piston right there. I think a sticky piston right here, like this. They block with a 1-tick repeater on it. So when this line turns off, this will fire. And then observe that 1-tick repeater. Actually, not yet. We'll test it now. And all we need is that last retraction. So we're going to observe this repeater, go down, down a block, and then I think it goes down 2 actually. Then out, you can break that block, replace the 4-tick repeater, and down, and back here into a block. And the reason we go all the way back here is to just bring it down here is because then it'll interfere with the storage pistons, which we definitely don't want. So you can test that, and that is a working triple piston extender. Right. And then I actually forgot something. It is these side pistons over here. And what we're going to do for them is pretty tricky. Block up with the redstone dust on top. And that'll power these bottom 2 side pistons. Then to power these top 3, we're going to have a redstone torch on this piston. No, on this piston. And then grab your... And I like to use an immovable object here. You don't have to. It's just that I don't like that extra piston firing because it's loud and you don't want that. And then so you go here, then torch, piston, torch, block up, and redstone dust. And that'll power all the side pistons, as you can see there. And then what we can do is come back up to the top and do our block storage circuit for up here. So block storage we can do in cyan, and what we can do is go ahead and mine those levers. We're gonna have a block here, the dust, 4-tick repeater, hopper, and a block. And the hopper, put a 4-tick repeater on it, and dust on it, on that block. And you can go ahead and mine these blocks so it doesn't break. And you're gonna place an observer facing the hopper and a door frame block right here. So what that'll do is that'll fire light, and then like that, then retract. Then you observe this redstone line come out and around and back into the piston. So we got that extension and that retractor. And how this is done is this block powers the hopper, which the observer picks up, but it does nothing because there's no piston there. Then this powers, and it'll power this piston, but the piston will be pushed out, so it won't do anything there. Then when we turn this off, the hopper will become unpowered, which will fire this piston. Then the repeaters will turn off, it'll retract, and then it'll fire that piston, just like that. Then we're going to go block, like that, block up, 4 blocks, make sure they're door frame blocks, so I don't mess with anything. Then block up, and this part is tricky, so what we're going to do is go ahead and break those levers if you place them. We're going to place the observer facing down, and then under that observer we have glass and obsidian. And the reason we have obsidian is, I'll tell you later, but the reason we have glass is so that when this retracts, it doesn't power this block. Because if we just had obsidian, it would power this back piston again, which is something that we really don't want. So then we're going to place a torch here with a piston facing downward like that. And this is the reason why we have the obsidian down here, so it doesn't, so the piston doesn't extend. Torch on the piston, 4-tick repeater going into there. And the 4-tick repeater is actually on an observer facing down, like so. And then can break that block and replace with an observer facing the 4-tick repeater. Wait, is it? Oh, that's my bad. No, it's not. It's like this. And then observer facing this 4-tick repeater, block down into a block. That's got a, no it doesn't. Into a block like this, up, and block like this. So now, this part is kind of complicated. If you want to figure it out, you can. I just don't want to explain it because it would take a pretty long time. And if you do redstone, it's pretty easy to know how this works. So, there we go. We have the block storage, and now we have basically all of the main circuits done. So now do this next circuit in dark green. We're gonna do these side pistons on the right here and connect it to this purple circuit. So to do that, we're gonna place a piston facing in with a redstone dust on it, with a redstone torch on it, like this, and a redstone torch on this piston, and then block, then immovable block, like so, piston facing up, redstone block here, block, redstone block, dust on both of those, and a piston on the torch like this. That's why we have the immovable block here, and a torch, and that will power this top piston right here, which I just placed the torch on because it'll power the obsidian block. And then we're gonna go 5 blocks up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna place a normal piston facing down like so, and then we'll create a slider, and that's it, all connected up like that. It's pretty simple. And so after that, we're gonna move on to the last circuit of the build, which is the light green circuit. So we're gonna go all the way across like this, block up, and this is our input block, and this sticky piston facing down, the observer, and that will fire this pink double extender before anything else in the door. So 4-tick repeaters all the way across, as you can see, and then we're going to torch on this. Then you don't have to place this, but an immovable block, and you'll hear some stuff fire, but that's fine because it will fix itself. And then a redstone torch here. Then we're gonna place glass, sticky piston facing down with a redstone block on its face, and 2 pieces of redstone dust with a target block right here, which will cut off the signal but keep this dust redirected. And then you need glass here, 1 tick repeater into a block. This block will have a sticky piston with the observer facing this way, which will be like a toggle, which will control whether it spits out its block during the closing or does a triple piston extension. And then we'll need 2 droppers facing into each other again, and a comparator like this. And when you place an object in here, make sure it's a stackable item so that this comparator gives a signal strength of 1, so it doesn't power this and just give it infinite power. And we're almost done with the build. All we have to do is there's a torch on this block, 4 tick repeater into a block with a redstone torch on its side, hopper like so, and like so, and this will create a hopper clock, creating extra delay, and 2 comparators facing like this. And from this comparator, we're gonna go observer, observer, block, hopper, observer, observer like this. And from this comparator, we're just gonna go observer. We're just gonna go all the way like this. And you'll see the triple extender go, but that won't do anything. And last but not least, we're going to break this block, add this, and replace that observer like this, and take this observer line out and around, and so it powers this dropper, which will turn off the storage pistons. That's what I meant to say, storage pistons at the right time. And that is about it. All we have to do is place items in these hoppers, and you can place, so let's start with like 16 items, just so we can just like test how much delay it is. Oh, I forgot one crucial piece. It's just an observer like that. And I forgot to replace these. Just make sure to place this observer because that'll fire the triple on both edges. But the triple requires these blocks to be here to work, so it won't actually it will actually help to open the door or close the door. So that 16 items look like it was a little too much delay, so we can try 12 like so. and you'll see the triple go, but it won't retract those blocks there because it needs the extra blocks. And you'll see this go. And it looks like we can take still, like maybe we go to 9, or how about 8? Let's try 8. Closing works fine with 8. Opening. Opening worked good. So let's test that one more time. Alright, so just experiment, because this door over here, this one, which is exactly the same, does not work with 8. I had to put 9 in here. It does not work with 8, so just experiment and just try, because if I try 8 on this door, see 8, it'll break like half the time. And by break, I mean it's not broken, it's just so just experiment and add items or take them out. And well sometimes it breaks here, but it's fine. I don't need to show you. But now this is almost a finished 5x5. All you have to do is fill in the door frame, and if you are building this in like a survival base or just like even a creative mode base, all you have to do to power it is 1 second. All you have to do to power it is, let me change the color of the input block actually to something that we haven't used. Actually, we can use so I'm gonna mine this real quick so it doesn't break anything. And all you have to do is run a repeater into this block right here, and you will have a 5x5 door to use. And it's compact and not too slow. Closes in around 7 seconds and opens in around 12. Like so. And this is my design, but these rails up here, having these rails here, was not my idea. The first person I saw it from was Emmanuel Plays. Shout out to him. But I don't know who invented this and who invented these rails. I've also seen sliders used for the observers, but that's a little more complex. And so, and that's about it. So thank you guys for watching, and hope you guys can enjoy this 5x5 piston door and use it in your builds, and see you guys later.